Welcome back to Lab20 Podcast. My name is Dennis Iman, and we're here sitting down for another conversation. Like we always say, Goody, the reason we're here is to bring in my conversations. Angatitandize to develop in whatever way. If whatever we discuss, we're sitting down here, helps us to move forward a step into something that gets us from where we've always been to say, I think it'll progress. We will be the happiest people that we came here and did this podcast. And there's a lot of talk, a lot of issues that are everywhere. And I think in my previous conversations that Takala now, we had a very, very interesting conversation with a lady called Matilda Zulu, where we discussed issues to do with the health and all that. To just understand meaning amamvetsetsera nkhani imene zokhudza mankhwala plus also just general issues to do with our health and then the healthy system. So we said, can we sort address an expert in the healthy supply chain? You call it a supply chain as well? The healthy system.
Yeah, so in general, there's medicine supply chain.
All right.
In the medicine and medical supplies.
Medical supplies, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. So today we have somebody who's going to introduce himself and he's going to tell us what he does, and then we'll dive into this conversation. So over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Ephraim Nkuniga. I am a pharmacist by profession. I am currently working for Family Health Services, previously known as PSI. Yeah, that's it.
All right. It took me time ngati munthu kuti ndimvetsetse kuti adokotala alipo siyana timangoti tikapita chipatala kuti aliyense amene ampeza as far as akutiuza za mankhwala ifeyo timangoti adokotala. It took me time, not too long ago, 3 years ago, to just understand what pharmacist training yao ndiina, doctors, general practitioners ndiena, even manesi waso ndiena. Can you tell me, pharmacist, what's your training and ntchito yanu makhala your time as a pharmacist?
Okay, so basically pharmacist and the custodian wa mankhwala, as the name says, the munthu woti akupanga practice the pharmacy. What happens for you to become a pharmacist is you need to have a degree in pharmacy. Currently, Malawi kunoko, the only school that's providing that. A pharmacist, in other terms, I'm actually domain siana, aka the chemist, drug custodian, kulimaina mbili. Komaya, as the name says in Munhoti, I'm a color affiliated in Mankwala Kwambili.
Basically a drug dealer.
Legal drug dealer. Legal drug dealer.
Thank you.
Yeah, to put it in those terms. Yeah, makes it simpler. Yeah. So, Kumalawi Kunoko, pharmacy is currently being offered. Degree. Yeah, pharmacy is currently being offered by Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, previously known as College of Medicine. Yeah. My school now having offer degree, having offer certificate. Yeah, pharmacy. Yeah.
All right.
So what you do when you become a pharmacist, you get a degree. You do an internship in the government for a year. Then you write an exam for you to get the practicing license.
Okay. So you actually need a practicing license. Even if you don't have a degree, you still need to go get this license for you to start practicing.
You need to get the license.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. From my research and conversations, I understand that pharmacists are often the last line of defense for patients. Whatever diagnosis the patient comes to a pharmacist, that's where they'll actually get the last help. Mankhwala amene akwena apita unawo ku nyumba, pharmacist ndi amene amatulutsa ndikumpatsa patient kuti munyamula mankhwala. So it's more like aliyense apa akugwira ntchito yake kanesi akumana ndi ndani kayaweza atani but the pharmacist is the one that says okay zimene akupatsani ukuzi uku apanga mukufunika up and this is what you are taking home. All right. That helps us with the conversation because I need to make sure I'm talking to the right profession. We have had interviews, like I said, with this girl, and we're talking about an issue. I mean, and it just like really excited us, so it gave us some interest. Substandard drugs, falsified drugs, or fake drugs being available on the market, whether in drugstores, and all that. What's your understanding, or how severe do you think this issue is in Malawi?
Okay, so Nkania substandard and falsified medicines may be relatively new in other circles. Koma Ninkanioti, it's always been there, and it's not just Malawi. It's a global thing, and the impact is very big. Unfortunately, maiko amene maka most vulnerable ni maiko amene ali ovutitsitsa. Maiko ngati Malawi, maiko ndira ku Africa, and amene maka what they are most vulnerable because usually nkania demand maka very high, the supply doesn't meet the demand. Kinako it kind of creates a loophole, you know, for my syndicate because amene apanga zinthu ngazimezi chandoti they see the incentive in doing that in the business.
There's an opportunity.
So they wake up, they say, okay, there's demand for mankhwala, the proper channels akulipira kupanga fill the gap. So they come in the injuries out. So falsified medicines and substandard medicines these terms are different. So when you're talking about falsified medicines, you're talking about mankhwala amene apangidwa with the intention of deceiving. So ni mankhwala oti alindi the definition is very complex. So basically when you just say with the intent of deceiving, that could come in a way the packaging would be different. They would say the panado asali panado.
Okay.
They may intentionally say the panado buno bwino nkati mukumali panado ma milligrams ochepa. They may so in the antibody they are intentionally doing this. Now, on the other hand, when you're talking about substandard medicines in mankhwala they are being manufactured by authorized companies. They have the papers, to do everything. Now the quality becomes an issue. The substandard medicines fail to reach the desired quality. So that's where the problem comes in. So I just want to make a clear distinction between falsified and substandard. So intention ndio the biggest thing that's bringing a difference between these two. Wina wapangira dala kupanga mankhwala awa I want to make profit out of this. I'll prepare chintu chipanga package motere ka mukulipeza ka tablet mjamuna muli sugar yeka koma they will tell you uyu ndaspree namwe. So they will present it like that. So yeah, the deception.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you as the custodians of medicines, you have a patient here that you want to help, and you have got my suppliers and all that bring these medicines ku institutions, whether kandi pharmacy,
yes,
whether kuchipatala kandi ma drugstore koseko.
Yes.
When you sit in your circles, let's say with your fellow pharmacists and whatnot, you discuss this thing. Where is the problem? And when you identify these problems within in your profession, what do you think needs to be done to actually curb or is easy? Mina leti agesa yiro kalori yovutira to Malawi.
Okay. So Nkania substandard and falsified medicines, as I said earlier, the issue are complex because you don't just have one player. You don't just have one loophole. So the problem comes in because when you combine factors like very high demand ya mankhwala, that contributes a lot, because demand means kuti mankhwala ngata ma proper places, many ma authorized places amene mene ukagula mankhwala. You go to a pharmacy, you go to a hospital, ngata sakupezeka mankhwala kumene kucha. People think of finding mankhwala ja Malawian. Now that's where the problem starts, because like the demand is there. Now who fills this gap? Because legally zijoti njira zabwino bwino mankhwala bwino akulephera to due to various factors. So now the demand is there, anthu akufuna mankhwala aja, anthu ajapanga resort to kuyang'ana mankhwala aja pa market ina. At the same time, anthu amene ali we call them perpetrators, they see this opportunity. They know good, okay, if I get mankhwala kuti ndiyapanga present motere, I go ku market ija, I'll make money of that. So the combination of factors ambiri. There's the issue ya supply chain complexity. Mankhwala amaenda maigosiyana amaenda mashipi, amaenda chani. There's the issue ya maborders athu ndovutirapo. You know kuti munthu amene wanyamula chinthu choti akuziwa kuti this is illegal, there's no way aukadusa pa border. Yes. And kumalawi kuno ndizichoti people can go through Lake Malawi you've seen
all the uncharted routes in
malile ndi munda hivyo. So basically ndizichonera kuti loopholes are there, ndi loopholes nambiri. So when it comes to issue ya pomwe pali vuto, ndi nkhani ya complex kwambiri, ma areas nambiri. That's it.
Okay. Now, are there any policies or tools that you are able to use to whether it's detect what are you using? You have got bunch of medicines from the medical store, medical stores, central medical stores, zabwera kaya nzipatala kaya kuti, and then you have got my wholesalers that are bringing in all these medicines. What control measures or tools, or are there even policies that help you now in your profession to say, guys, we know we might have this going on now, use this parameters or tools for you to actually detect, just control inflow, this type of medicines now.
Okay, so there's a system for getting medicines. When you're getting medicines in any other country, there's a system that you follow. One, you need to get the medicines from a registered manufacturer. The registered manufacturer needs to register mankhwala in your country. So ndekuti manufacturer ija apita kunokwa PMRA, that means they are the gatekeepers of this. So PMRA, we inspect their plant to check if they have the capacity, if they meet my standards, amapereka chipaso. Okay, you're certified, you meet my good manufacturing practices. They call them current good manufacturing practices because they're updated from time to time. So after that, okay, inuyo takuchongani, you have a plant, you're able to make mankhwala. Koma now mankhwala just indi ma particulars. You meeting my particulars for manufacturing ya mankhwala. So now that's where the licensing, registration ya product comes in. Because individually, they will get certified as a company, as a plant. Now they also need to get, they need to register their products. So basically, akuskauta ino products 100 kuma mwina njira zumi na kupangira zicha mwina sizolondola. That means kuti ngakhale ali registered company, they will not be able to bring their medicines kuma. So PMRA are the gatekeepers of this. What they do, they check that when you are importing mankhwala when khala registered, and the process your register mankhwala is very complex. They look at a lot of things. You need to submit a lot of documents, they must samples, they analyze this. So it's very involving, and it takes a very long period of time because you can look at the extent of the data they need to go through, the information they need to process. So they don't just rush into kupanga certified mankhwala. Now, on the other hand, mankhwala janoma are registered. when you're getting them kumalawi kunoko, you want to buy them. Mankhwala jaka registered, you want to buy them. You don't just buy ngati mene timagulira my Jordan Shin or something, something like that. So what you do is you need to get an import permit. So you apply for an import permit. They will produce an invoice. The manufacturer will produce an invoice. You need to apply for an import permit. Okay, and we say Panado batch. It's that specific. So you can imagine good mankwalaja. I'm a baka Panado siana. Come now it's very specific because it narrows down to the batch you may have prepare. Yeah, so they need to apply for an import permit. Okay, if you do not import this batch of mankwala from this company. So after they do that, PMRA will evaluate that. Then they will, if it meets what they need, they will grant you the import permit. That's when you import mankwala. So kutengera chilungamo, as I was saying, the system that's there, it's there to help. We know good mankwala and the issue I have. In as much as we were trying to help, if a momo banga achievement mafuna depends on mtu chatampwete. Yeah. So antwaja my perpetrators such, they try to beat the system because they don't go in the system. They know what they are there to put up and control. Yeah. So they will move the contraband. The contraband is through other routes. Yeah, that's a thing. Koma kutengera out my presence ya policies and legal framework systems are there. Koma now what we're trying to do is we know that this is a big problem. That's my organizations Siana in collaboration with the Pharmacy Medicines Regulatory Authority. They are working on it. Recently, we attended a certain workshop.
Exactly.
So it was on the same. Now WHO is trying to come up with a national action plan against the said substandard and falsified medicines. So we're trying to come up so as we're having a conversation right now, they are working on this. They're working on loopholes. They're working on how to mitigate these things. What kind of people can we bring in we should get this input. How can it help us advance in this fight against substandard and falsified medicines?
Okay, actually, I wanted to go there. You mentioned PMRA several times, and it took me to that workshop when I heard it was a workshop about this. Interesting. You were part of that workshop.
Yeah.
What are the things that you found interesting from the workshop, or things that maybe surprised you? Because you have the body that really regulates this, and also you're talking about World Health Organization. Sitting there, was there anything that you were like, oh, okay, whether it's a new thing that they've discovered, whether it's a new solution that they are proposing, what was contained in that workshop?
Okay, so basically what they were doing is they're trying to bring a lot of people from various backgrounds together to share information as they are creating this background for creating the National Action Plan. So I will not go into details. What I really loved the most was the diversity that was there, because we had a lot of people from academia to the regulators to my association, my private clinics, my pharmacies from my manufacturers, the local manufacturers, you have the wholesalers, you have the retailers. So there were various groups. I went with a certain group called WHO, hosted several groups on different days. So what I like is what really stood out, the teamwork that needs to be there. So you're realizing, good, okay, we need to get input from and Siana from different backgrounds in order for us to come up with this national thing that will help us combat the substandard and falsified medicines. So yeah, basically that's it.
And how do you measure the relationship between practitioners, pharmacists and the regulator, which is PMRA. How are you working together?
Okay, so practitioners and PMRA. So the relationship is already they are there to from a different perspective because they are like the watchdogs, don't do that. Yeah, at the same time it's for the greater good. So they are there, you're complying to Malamulo Amenali there, which is the act, and in doing so you're fulfilling my values in PMRA, because we were there as a team, both of us, the practitioners and the regulator, to achieve in giving the population manquality are efficacious, with the good quality, and they're also safe as well. So it's not a cat and mouse relationship, a good working relationship. We have the regulator.
Okay. Yeah. But I hear a lot of times about when enforcement issues come into play, there's always that talk. Take me through the enforcement. Yeah, and my inspections. From your perspective, even maybe from your conversations. I know you've got friends that run pharmacies, and quality control, things like those. How is it typically done? My inspections are, and how do you feel the way they are done? Are they efficient enough?
Okay, so PMRA think they are included like on their side. What they do, they regulate both the practice and any aspect of mankwala. They regulate. So you're coming there as a practitioner, as a pharmacist. They regulate the premise. You have a pharmacy, you have a hospital, you be dispensing mankwala, you have a medicine store. They'll be there. Also pharmacy, they'll be there. So they need to come for initial inspection before go pass a license. So they'll come, they do that. Now and then they will do my surprise inspections.
So you explained Udi Mageza Jama Indela and all those things. How effective are my checks? Plus, because we're looking at mankwala about my falsified drugs, fake drugs. Could in system if there's all these my inspections going on, where the suppliers are, what's the chances of falsified drugs to get into, let's say, a proper pharmaceutical system, the pharmacy, drugstore? And before we talk about the other places where people buy drugs.
So the biggest loophole, entry my falsified medicines or substandard medicines into the proper system. Another one, the run the pharmacy or the hospital, that, as I said, demand plays a big role. So when you have a couple of patients and you think ntakhanda pangazoti ningopeza mankhwala inake kacha Mzambia kacha Mozambique, so if you're doing that, it means good you're getting mankhwala they did not pass through the proper channels and in the PMRA. So the chances are high that you're going to meet mankhwala when you move through that. Coming to your first question, Kenya, my inspections at PMRA. PMRA, and they are playing a very big role in ensuring good mankwala they are safe with good quality and they're efficacious as well. So yeah, my inspections are I'm a car because they get my samples and they go with them to lab, they check if they were imported, if the batch in the import permit YOT was granted before coming into the country. So yeah, PMRA is doing their best.
Okay. Now beyond PMRA, which is basically a government instituted body, what other NGOs, partners, or stakeholders are there? I mean, our monitor kuthandizira kuti we don't have issues like this.
Okay, so generally, my partners, NGOs, they play their role by sourcing mankhwalaja from, because in Komwe Kulikiet, they are sourcing mankhwalaja from the right manufacturer. They're getting mankhwala from WHO pre-qualified manufacturers. They do the proper paperwork. Further to that, you find that the WHO Yobanga spearhead this fight against falsified and substandard medicines. Now in the development year, national action plan against the falsified and substandard medicines. So that will be big when they finalize it, because these are tackle my issues also. I mean, we're talking about now. It's going to address my issues where my entry points. It's going to address those. Isa Panga play a very big role. So currently, I'll say most of my NGOs and partners, they are doing their part. NGO is also doing the WHO is also doing their part, but they're extending it to the active fight. I'll say active fight, because we're not going to the your background, because just making sure the things are in order. Now they're taking this initiative, they're taking this extra step in ensuring the government has proper procedures for addressing this big problem.
Yeah. The biggest culprit in this whole system now could be the person who is going to get the drugs, which is muntu amene wamva kuti wadwala. Now he has a choice to make, basically kupita kuchipatala, kupita ku pharmacy, kapena anamva kuti munsika muja pakona pa ambewe paja amakhala ndi mankhwala ochipa koma abwino solewa omwe aja ku pharmacy aja koma amugulitsa mtengo ochipa. And they make a choice to ndiseveko kena kake ndikagule ochipa aja kukona kunsika kwina kwake. This place is not a drugstore, it's not a pharmacy. However, this person gets their medicine amadziwa okha. What can muntu ngati ine layman who is trying to just cure symptom imene ali nayo ina yake do kuti they should not fall victim to my drugs agency?
Okay,
what's our role?
So to a certain extent, in Kenya awareness, I think for the public, the presence of mass substandard falsified medicines is not on the higher side. Mwina zikanathandiza kuti anthu azizindikira kuti okay, malo yenerera kwagula mankhwala akuyenera kukhala kuti oti ali registered ndi PMRA. Ngati registered ndi PMRA ni malo onena kuti ali regulated bwinobwino. One, practitioner amene ali kumene kunde kuti akakhala ondithandiza. Two, product imene takapezeka kumeneko ikhala product yoti indithandiza. So the lack of this knowledge ndi omwe imapangisa kuti anthu aja they should be able to walk into a market and say kuti okay, cause makhala msika wina wayala mankhwala, that's not the proper way, because like in this jewelry storage ni mankhwala yenena chani. So there's a lot that's violated already. Malo amene ajawo it's already very complicated. Atakhala kuti munthu uja ndi mankhwala abwino chani koma his knowledge, that's why kunabwera nozija kuti okay, kukhale these institutions ma places only how you can access my healthcare services. You go ku chipatala, you go ku pharmacy, you go ku medicine store. So it's this regular visits to misika manager that makes sure kuti anthu aja they still come the next day, because there's no way munthu angakhaye kuti akumayala mankhwala musika ngati anthu akuzindikira kuti mankhwala aja sitimene atikagule pamene paja. They will not go. Demand will not be there, your business ilepeleka. Koma as I said earlier, demand plays a big role. So if you look at anthu aja, they're desperate. They are not aware of kuti kumene kwina kwatenga mankhwala kuti. So they will go to those places in Musika. They will get those medicines.
No, but then ngani ya mankhwala some of us growing up yoga yatiliana amatituma kwathu tapita ndipakalapo mukagule aspirin, tapita ndikagule panado. Timakula nacho kuti mankhwala umatha kugula pakaokala So when we say kuti mankhwala sumagula kunsika, so where's the line between mankhwala amene timapeza at every corner store ndi amene akunena kuti sanga control yake makhaye kwenda motani?
Okay, so just for the sake of clarity, when I said kuti opezeka pansika, I literally meant pansika. So basically an informal place choti nsika. Mashopu ena they are allowed to keep what we call general sales list. Nakati mkwadinanga, you get like kapanado, kajani, the basics, what you can access. Their quantities are to a certain extent limited. Because you cannot go there without in a complex condition. Sugar, and then you go there, say you expect to find them there. No, because they know they're not allowed to keep sending as message. Initially I was talking about misika no ijodi yongo yala no literally palipos. Basic things in that panado you can find them mashopu, you find them msana. So because at least you're increasing access to a certain extent, but then it's not going beyond what can be controlled. Yeah.
Okay. Recently there's been surge and women kuti antibiotics there's all this talk makwalalam. I personally don't understand even what the antibiotic in painkiller, but most people will tell you that antibiotics have. From your perspective, what's this thing that is happening in the antibiotics? Antibiotics, or do you have people that are saying something like this to do with antibiotics?
Okay, so the thing about I'll call them antimicrobials, because when you say antibiotics, you are very specific. So antimicrobials, they're fighting against viruses, fungus, and then the bacteria as well. So falsified and substandard medicines play a role, and then there's the abuse of antimicrobials. So the abuse in a way when they'll just say, okay, ndazuka lero mwendo wanga ukapweteka chonchi ndi mamwa amoxicillin, let's say amoxicillin, without even consulting a healthcare professional.
Exactly.
So what happens is microorganism kaja kama mbano kukhala kama panga evolve because like ndi choti ka exposure ka to a certain extent is choti utenga mankhwala but sumainena kutenga mankhwala, so the abuse contributes to
you become drug resistant,
antimicrobial resistant. They call it antimicrobial resistance. So makazi choti iko kacha kafika pa chapono okay, ineyo ndikabwera kuno adawa akakhala amoxicillin, amoxicillin akalowa nthupi mucha amakandishuta. I'll put it in those terms, amakandishuta. So kazi choti iweyo chifukwa kuti sunamwe mankhwala chamene umenera kumwera, so ashuta kajani a blank, kapanga survivor, okay, adaja akumashuta chonche, okay, it survived, right? So kama mbapanga kuona kuti okay, because it's a living thing, right? Everyone knows to survive, they have their families.
You find a way, but okay. Even in Kuku, it knows how to go about this.
Yeah. So imakano choti amambano kupanga change. So kuona no okay mankhwala jakabwira matire, kapanga develop ka bulletproof change. So next time when you're actually sick, basically kumwa mankhwala ja sagugira. Yeah, so it's a big problem. Antimicrobial resistance is a big problem because now you find kuti mankhwala amene previously amati anthu akamwa ndikuchira apeza kuti munthu akumwa mankhwala omwewo koma sakuchira.
Because I was thinking that could have also been one of the things many anthu amanyanga ndikumwa mankhwala kuti ndi fake pamene mwina kapena ndizimene zoti lero ndabva chakuti ukatenga amoxicillin kumwa ngomane ukayojeni kamodzi kaya ndi tiwiri sumwaso madzulo ndabona nthawi imeneyo pasiya ukazamva so tsiku lake tiwiri not as prescribed with dosage is easy when I don't. I was thinking maybe it could be one of those things, and then tikama mankhwala mwe aja ndimona ngati kapena mwina tikumwa mankhwala oti anthu angomenya kaufa kena kake basi bola akapanga package muje muka capsule.
That's twofold. That twofolds to this. So palinkhania the development of antimicrobial resistance. Then there's also the presence of substandard and falsified medicines. So one, you have mankhwala oti akalephera kukwanirisa kugwira ntchito imene amene akupanga. And that also contributes to antimicrobial resistance. So you can see how these things are connected. You're taking mankhwala oti samayenera, sakwanisa, sakupanga meet standards, mankhwala oti nda fake, alephera kugwira ntchito yake bwino, they contribute to antimicrobial resistance. On the other hand, you have the abuse that's already there in the society that is also contributing to mankhwala aja kupanga reduce effectiveness. So at the end of the day, you're getting mankhwala onena kuti munthu wadwala akumwa mankhwala bwino oti abwino kuma sakuchita. So these things are connected.
If you were to send any message to your fellow pharmacists, the general public, about this thing that we are discussing here, what could be your message?
Okay, so for starters, we need to be aware that we have this problem on our plate. It's a very big problem and it's real, and it's global. It's not just here in Malawi. So once we start looking at the presence of this problem, it will try to we'll try to change our mindset, and the awareness of the problem at hand is key. For the general public, ninkanyonena kuti mankhwala tikapanga source kuti you need to source mankhwala from certified institutions, authorized institutions. For my practitioners, my institutions, my pharmacists, but they need to source also mankhwala from authorized manufacturers, and they need to go through the proper route. They will go to PMRA, which is the regulator. That will make sure at least they are getting mankhwala woti abwino. So and then that will help kupanga prevent kulowa kwa mankhwala falsified substandard medicines on the market, because it will cap the demand. Because they know where to get mankhwala bwino. They will not look for mankhwala punsika. They will not look for mankhwala in my informal places. They look for mankhwala in places bwino. So that to a certain extent will cap the demand. And now how do we detect these things? So if they're getting mankhwala from the proper channels, mankhwala jamakala and the bachi, mankhwala and the ID, you know what, okay? Mankhwala wao kunoko anabwera through supplier uyu, manufacturer again uyu, so they can be traced. Mankhwala can be traced. It's only when you get the mankhwala through Malawi nage, that's when the problem comes in. So falsified awa malowa kuuza njira minis. So once we are aware of the problem, we know if I get mankhwala through the improper routes, I know the chances are there that sinatenge mankhwala bwino. Now, you think about the risk. We're exposed to mankhwala watani. The safety is questionable, the quality is questionable, the efficacy is questionable. So yeah, to a certain extent, I just want people to know this is the problem at hand. It's a problem that can be controlled. There are a lot of stakeholders who are taking initiative in this fight. See as an individual institution or an individual person. As I said, it's a complex issue. There are a lot of players in there. So in Canada, signed a lot to play. Even the general public, the mere person, the patient has a lot to play. Because, as I said earlier, due to these other factors. Yeah, so again, the main hope is there. There are a lot of people in this fight. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much. And this is how we conclude our conversation with Ephraim Kunika, who is a pharmacist. And thank you because you took time to come sit down with us. We can debate these things on our own the way we want. koma sizingaveke what fotokozela iweyo. You have helped us to understand what's there from the counters where these medicines are taken to be given to us, but also the wholes of the policies, what NGOs are there, to where they are coming from. Good from manufacturers, how do they get to us? So this is very, very insightful, and we appreciate your input. To Kulubila and Hamene on our podcast day, they now understand what that pill represents and how important it is to actually have an interest to know kuti mankhwala amene ndikutengawa ndikuwatenga kuti achokera kuti. And I think that helps us to create more awareness for people to actually go to my regulated and certified places where they can actually acquire their medications. And on that note, we conclude our conversation today. My name is Dennis, and thanks so much to Mr. Pierre Gray for making sure that we have this production, recording, and even the final cuts. Until next time, when we are back on this set, it could be on different set, but on this channel for another conversation, a real conversation with a real person that helps us move from where we are to develop. I'll leave you so you can enjoy anything else that you're watching online. My name is Dennis. Until next time, peace, and we're out.